Questions? Preguntas? I know at least one person in the back has one. I told you I was going to do this, though. You didn't mentally prepare?
She did say she was going to.
No, you're going to ask now. Come on, be brave.
Can you have more than one store?
Can you have more than one store? So, you will just have one store. However, there is something called combined reducers that you can use. So in here, we're only passing in one reducer. If you have, so like, I feel like Twitter, do I have that image someplace? Oh, I thought that I took the image. We're gonna see if I can find it. Twitter reducer. Nope, okay, it's gonna take too long. Combine reducers. So, say you have an immensely large store. For instance, if you were Twitter, you might wanna have separate reducers for simplification for what's gonna happen for your users versus for tweets, versus for followers, versus for notifications. Those all might be different things. You can define different reducers for those. And essentially what they're going to do is create some nesting in your object. So you'll have a top level root reducer that's going to combine others, and then you'll have keys on that one that point to the initial state of, in this case, your potato reducer. So I might have followers point to an object that's really being defined by my follower reducer. They'll always come down into one store, but you can split up your reducer to simplify the logic for yourself. That was a really good question. Thank you for asking. Shoot.
I have a follow-up question for that. So stores always held where the initial state is?
So, let's see. Maybe I should actually.
And where your reducer function is?
So we'll move, do you mean in terms of file structure?
Yeah, in terms of like where you like to because it looks like to define a store you need the reducer function. So you need to put it where the reducer function is.
So this will make more sense when we start to move stuff around. What I would actually do is I would move all of this into its own reducer file. If I had different reducers, I would likely give them all their own files. And then once I combine them into one root reducer, I'll import that into my index.js to be used here, which we'll see a little bit of. You'll only get to one layer because we just have the one reducer, but is akin to how you really just import your reducer into the index.js file and then use it to create your store. Other questions? These have been good. Hey, look at him go! Sorry.
So when you look at the input in the store,
The text, yes.
Yeah. Is that like the best practice? Because that seems kind of weird having, because only that one component is using it, so not
Yes.
sure why.
Oh, and this is the question I wanted to follow up on. So, do you think you need to put everything inside of your Redux store? No. Stuff like this, like, well, why? Like, if there's only ever that one component that needs to know about it, then it probably doesn't need to go into your reducer store. Or like if you have a local form state, and it's really the only one that needs to know about it, you still have access to making that a class component and having local state. You just have to determine if that makes the most sense. There's a resource that I'm gonna put in the README and will likely also just Slack out to you guys so you see it, because I think it's great. Alex made it ages ago, who I never actually met. And it has all of these key terms. It's like a terminology cheat sheet. But in addition to just being a great terminology cheat sheet, is it here that it was? No, it's somewhere lower down, I think. He has a whole series of, like, why belong in whatever. Darn it, there's just a series of links that I had and now I've lost. But he has a whole, there we go. So when should I use Redux? Why it's good for you. How to choose between Redux store and state. You might not need Redux, like all of these things. This is probably last six probably the one that I like the best so far from my scanning of them, but they talk through logically when should these things actually go into your Redux store and when is that just overcomplicating your life? Because you can overcomplicate your life for sure. Other questions? And then we make our code much better quality. All right, we're gonna make our code much better quality. You can always ask questions after if they come up. So one other thing that I'm gonna do is, now that we know that it's for sure using this, I'm gonna set this all back to the regular defaults, because that just like makes more sense. And then we're gonna pull all of this logic that's just our reducer into its own file, because it really doesn't need to be here. We can import just the key element of it, which is the reducer. So I would do this for each reducer that I had. If I had a followers reducer and a notifications reducer, I would name the files appropriately. And then set up each of my reducers in different places, export them out, and then import them here. Thereby, and we'll keep that down there, but I'm hiding it, getting my index.js back to just being this gorgeous little file. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Okay, I'm happier with this notation. All right, and so this is one level of something that's nice.
No, it's fine.
I like hurt the breath. And this is substantially better. There's one more thing that I want us to look at though, which is presuming in this reducer there's more than one place that I could toggle something or dislike something or change text, all of these things. I'm now banking on that I, as a developer, am never gonna make a typo to this string. Y'all have seen me type in real life. I make typos all of the time. I for sure would end up doing something like this and missing an I, and so this not having the behavior that I think, and that might take me 30 minutes to honestly like 2 hours to debug, just because it's hard to see. So I'm gonna have us make something called action creators. I'm gonna split up the reducer this way. Realistically, I'd probably put these in a different file, but I'm not going to at this point. All right. What these are gonna do is I'm gonna say, for instance, const like action creator is just gonna be a function that returns to me my action object. So type like. When I invoke this thing then, it will get me that object that I'm using here, for instance. So instead of whenever I'm making my map dispatch to props, just actually typing in, here's exactly what the action looks like, here's that string that I might mess up, I'm instead going to import like action creator from /. Oh, I made an action creators file? Never mind, because I did it. Let's move it there. Look at me with the planning. I'm so impressed by myself. Then we're gonna export all of them as actions. Whoa, what? I always forget the notation for this. Export all as. You should be fine.
Is it because on reducer you took out the default?
Well, that's definitely the reason for that line there. That's a good catch. All right. gonna waste time doing that. We're gonna do it this way. I'm just gonna do a named export for this guy. And while we're at it, dislike action creator, and then utilize both of these guys here. Now, where I had hard-coded what these actions are gonna look like, instead, I'm going to call like action creator and dislike action creator. And these, after invoked, are going to evaluate to my action object. The reason I do this is manifold. One is if I ever need to change something about what that action looks like in the reducer, and therefore what the action looks like that needs to be dispatched here, now I only have to do it 2 places. I look to the reducer and I look to my action creator. I don't have to go around to every place in my code that I hard-coded that action object and make sure that I make that update. I've only got 2 places. The second is just literally to deal with human error. That if I were instead dispatching a whole bunch of hard code types, type, colon, string of like, it's a lot more likely that I mess up something than when I start writing dislike action creator and it autofills for me. It makes it a lot less likely that some human error that I make is gonna get me into a bug that I'm not gonna be able to deal with. I want you to think of questions while I translate these other ones, so we have this for reference. This file does not need to import, you said? It does not need to import anything. All of this is responsible for is exporting all of these functions. Oh, and I didn't export dislike.
Yeah.
It's a lot. You're gonna say something?
I mean, is there a difference between just putting export and from that cost?
Oh, I could do that as well. Yeah. I still want to figure out the asterisk. Realistically, the reason that I did this is because I wanted to do the asterisk as actions, and then I don't know what my syntax fail was. But yeah, that's also fine. All right, so we had toggle. There were 2 more. What was it? Change text and add text. And then lastly, export const add text. I'm going to be lazy and call that creator. This is the one where we actually needed some information as well. And so this action creator is going to be a little bit different in that it's going to expect to be passed in that new text. There's a lot of tracking of things. It gets difficult with Redux. Is this managing of your code? For good measure, I'm going to do this. And now over in app, can import all of these guys. And then use them appropriately down here. Let's make sure I didn't break all the things. What up? I still have way too many console logs. Ooh.
Oh.
Because you.
Oh, because I didn't update the value.
Yeah.
Oh. Yikes. Or I did? Is that what this .props.txt is on? Yes. Maybe not worth it to debug this right now. Value of undefined. Action payload value. So I did break
Did
something.
you change
Hmm.
in app.js, did you change that line? Cause I remember someone
In
looking at
app.js.
this dot props dot change text and dot target value. Oh, I don't think you did that.
Change text action creator gets passed in new text.
And new text is being defined as up to line like 24, I think. No, not 24, that was wrong. It's line 30. Dot props. And dot target value.
Mm.
What's that target?
Salud.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, this props out change text event target value. Change text will take in this and then dispatch change text action creator with new text. Type change text payload value new text. What we're gonna do to debug this, wrap this in curly brackets. .log new text. Inside creator. Ooh. Inside reducer, change text.
That is not what we wanted. It's not console-wise. It's not console-wise
No.
what we want. This
Export.
is not, add text creator. You put that in add text creator, not in change text.
Oh, great, cool. Wait, so this one, oh, this is where the naming of this should be so much better. Okay, so add text creator is the one that doesn't need anything. And then change text creator is the one that does. Okay. Where are we? Add text creator, change text creator. I think I renamed you. Add text action creator, change text creator. Add text action creator, change text creator. Oy. Okay, now, actually, we good? All right, now we good. Cool, didn't break anything. You will break stuff. It's okay. You will break stuff. It is okay. All right, now, what I'd like you guys to do, and I will be on the floor for most of the time, is after lunch, after blogs, I have a version of Sushi Saga inside of this repo, along with Redux intro. With your project pairs or in table groups, I'm open, I want you to go through and decide what from Sushi Saga should be in Redux, and then implement Redux and React Redux to connect Sushi Saga to it. I'm gonna be on the floor for that, in part because there are some pieces of that I think will give you guys some hints that we'll be able to talk through. And then tomorrow morning, we're gonna go through it, update Sushi Saga live, relatively quickly, and then talk about how to deal with async. So like fetching currently, we can't really do. So tomorrow, we'll talk about how Thunk allows us to dispatch to the store only after some async action is finished. All right, with that, it is almost lunchtime, so please take a break, get out of this room, get some sunshine, and I will see you guys after lunch. Toodles.